call the Dublin City Council meeting order. If you would, let's please stand. Councilman or Mayor Pro Tem Gerald Smith will say our invocation, and then we'll say a pledge to the flag.
Let's pray. God, thank you so much for all the blessings that you've given to us. A lot of times we don't take pause and think about all that you do for us, in spite of our wicked ways a lot of times. We thank you for having mercy on us, and we ask that you enter our thoughts and to guide our deeds, that we can do things that will be pleasing in your sight. We ask that you help this council to make decisions that would be beneficial for all of our citizens. Help us to always keep those we serve at heart, and let us always come to you for guidance in those decisions. We ask that you bless this meeting tonight, and we ask you to put your healing hand on all these people who are sick with different flu symptoms and those kind of infirmities. We ask that you just be with all of them and give them some peace too. We ask all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. Before we get started on our regular agenda items, we've got a special presentation we'd like to present tonight. And Reverend Sheffield, do you mind coming down for a few minutes? And Mayor Pro Tem Smith will go around and make the presentation for us.
Thank you.
Right there's good. It's good to see you tonight.
Good to be here.
I'm a rookie at this. I'm going to give you some slack.
We don't like that prayer.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've got a presentation to make. I first want to read it.
Okay.
So everybody can share in this. This has got a bunch of whereas, and you know it's official. It's a proclamation that's honoring Richard Sheffield, dated January 2018. Whereas Richard Sheffield started serving on the City School Board of Education in 1998 and has served on that board for 20 years. And whereas Richard has served on various boards and committees on state, regional, and local levels, including serving 2 terms as chairman, he is a member of the Southside Revitalization Organization. And whereas Richard is a 1966 graduate of Oconee High School, where he was the quarterback of the football team, he went on to attend Bay Ridge Christian College in Texas. And whereas Richard has received numerous awards for his years of service at various state and local churches and ministries, he was inducted into the Dublin Touchdown Club's Football Hall of Fame and received the NAACP Man of the Year Award. And whereas Richard has made a lasting impression on the citizens of Dublin and Lawrence County for his dedication and hard work in making Dublin city schools great, whereas Richard has the ability to motivate all those around him to accomplish any goal by setting such high standards for himself and everyone with whom he works. And whereas Richard's hard work, dedication to his children, children's education, and service to Dublin and Lawrence County will be greatly missed. And now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Phil Best, Mayor of Dublin, herein honor Richard Sheffield for his years of work, service, and devotion for the education of our children. I do hereby decree January 18th, 2018, as Richard Sheffield today in the city of Dublin, Georgia. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 18th day of January, Phil Best, Senior Mayor of Dublin. Congratulations to you. Here's the hardware that goes with it. This is the award itself, and this is something that you can frame. And we're so proud of you and the example that you've set.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Have this microphone. You carry it up. Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
Well, I'll just say a couple of things there. Mr. Mayor and Council, would I be mistaken if I say the greatest mayor and council in the state of Georgia? Okay, and then, of course, the citizens of Dublin, we do appreciate this. I'm overcome with joy, in fact. I'm gonna be quick because I don't wanna, just open the floodgates to, shed tears of joy. But I am truly humbled and also glad to receive this particular recognition. Thank you. God bless you good.
Reverend Sheffield, the proclamations, and I know you probably know this, but I don't know how many folks in the audience know it. There's probably a good many of those proclamations floating around, but there's very few of the Golden Shamrock Awards floating around, and you were one of those recipients. And we appreciate what you've done for the community.
You're the greatest.
All right, sir. We'll get on to the regular agenda items, and that probably, the rest of it will be probably boring after that. Item number 1 is approval of the January 4th, 2018 City Council meeting minutes.
So move. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Davis and a second by Mr. Johnson that we approve the minutes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 2 is approval of bills over $3,000.
Make a motion, we pay the bills, Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Edwards, and I'm sorry, who was the second? Second by Mr. Griggs that we approve the bills. Any discussion there? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 3 is approval of purchases over $3,000.
I have one purchase for your approval tonight. We had budgeted $40,000 this year to buy a tractor trailer truck, or just a tractor, to pull our large trailers, including we got a low boy, big track hose, things that take a big truck to pull. We have found a 2012 Volvo B&L 64 with 332,851 miles, which sounds like a lot. This kind of truck regularly gets over 1 million miles. And the purchase price for this truck is $37,168. Thomas Sewell of the shop has checked this out and says it's in good shape and it's a very good buy for us. We recommend purchasing this truck.
Council, you've heard staff's recommendation. What's your pleasure?
Move for approval. Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Davis and a second by Mr. Jones that we approve the purchase. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 4 is the first reading of an ordinance to annex 3.84 acres of land located at Claxondary Road, land lot 216. It's R4 multifamily residential zone. Mr. Jones, will you please read that proposed annexation ordinance?
Yes, this is ordinance number 18-03, annexing and incorporating into the municipality of the city of Dublin, Georgia, 3.84 acres of land located at Claxondary Road. The first land, it's land lot 216, I believe, of the First Land District, Lawrence County, Georgia. Proposed use is a multifamily residential use which will be annexed in as R4 multifamily residential zone.
Okay, our second reading and public hearing of that proposed annexation will be at our February 1st meeting. Okay, item number 5 is discussion and/or action on the resolution for the General Assembly opposing de-annexation of properties from cities to create new municipalities.
Okay, the next item, the city of Stockbridge, the legislature, there's some legislation pending that would actually just divide the city of Stockbridge. It's not without their consent and form a new town from part of that town. And the city of Stockbridge has asked all the cities in the state, along with GMA, to please take a look at this, and if council so inclined, to vote on a resolution opposing the state legislature being able to just come in and split your town off into separate towns without the consent of the people in the town. Mr. Powell, you looked at this pretty extensively. Is there anything else we need to add?
No, just, you've got the resolution there before you. If that's what council wants to adopt, we can do that, and I will, once it's signed by the mayor, we can forward that on to Stockbridge, for them to use.
Okay, are there any questions from council? Do I hear a motion to approve the resolution?
So move.
Got a motion by Mr. Jones and a second by Mr. Smith that we approve the resolution in discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 6 is discussion and/or action on a change order from AMEC Foster Wheeler for the Willie Paul Parkway gas main extension.
Okay, you can see, this is a project that we started when Valmira started building their factory. We've been sort of building the project and designing it at the same time, trying to get this in. One of the things that was promised to Valmira is that we would loop this gas line so they have an assured gas supply. They have a kiln that they make fiberglass with that when it is in operation, and they're heating it up right now, will remain in operation 24/7, 365 days a year for 8 years. So it's very important their gas supply be uninterrupted. This line will supply them with feed from both sides, so the gas line will be looped. It provides an assured gas supply for not just them, but anybody else on that gas line that's on that looped line. Plus, the line will cross several new industrial sites, really open them up for development. The price of this change order is $149,796.12.
Okay, any questions from council?
Are we, real satisfied with Foster Wheeler?
Oh, yes, sir, yeah, we're satisfied with them and with the company that's been doing the actual installing the gas line. They've been doing good work. Mr. Sharp is there in the back and has been watching them closely and says they're doing a good job. So,
They're doing an outstanding job. They tore that line and met the deadline times and quality.
Any other questions? I hear a motion to approve the change order.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Mr. Grigg to approve the change order. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 7 is the discussion and/or action on the bids for the mausoleum rehabilitation.
As you're aware, in our cemetery, we have a mausoleum that the city took over in the 70s, Northview Cemetery, and we had to quit using it in the late 80s. We're not sure exactly the right date, but the last burial was probably late 80s, around 1990. There are about 153 spaces still in there to be used, but we had to close the doors, lock it, and not let anybody in because of some structural worries. We want to rehabilitate it, and it's got some problems. And if we don't fix it, and we're obligated to fix it because we took it and some money to keep it in shape back in the 70s. So we're obligated to keep it in good shape. This study to be done that we're recommending will tell us what we need to do to fix it, because it's got some real problems there. So we asked for proposals, and when you take proposals, you're not necessarily taking the low bid, but the best bid, because these different firms have all kind of different qualifications. But we received 3 bids, one $10,310 from Environmental Services, one $40,847 from Garbutt Construction, and one in the amount of $15,909 from Lord, Eck, and Sargent of Atlanta. After looking at all the proposals, staff's recommendation is to award to Lord, Eck, and Sargent from Atlanta in the amount of $15,909.
Any questions, council? Not, do I hear a motion to approve the proposal?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Griggs, and who was the second? Second by Mr. Brown, that we approve the low bid of Lord, Eck, and Sargent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 8 is discussion and/or action on board appointments, and as you know, in the last meeting of December, we made our changes for the upcoming year, but we inadvertently, or I inadvertently left the tree board, the Martin Luther King Committee, and the International Committee list off, which tonight we're going to table or postpone the tree board because there may be some changes there, but the Martin Luther King Committee and the International Committee will remain the same as the list that you have. I'd like to ask if you would to approve those 2 committees tonight.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Edwards and a second by Mr. Jones. We approve those boards. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Item number 9 is citizens' comments. Are there any citizens that would like to address council tonight? Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and council. I'd just like to thank the council, the mayor firstly, and the council for their participation in the Martin Luther King breakfast on the other week. But we want to encourage all the council members to also remember that when these types of events from our community, when they have them and only the African Americans show up, it sends a message, whether that message is intent or not. So we're encouraging you to try to put a priority, especially on that day. And some of the other things that goes on, don't just write it off. You know, some of you may have had important appointments. We don't know that. But the main thing is just try to put some priority on some of the things that our community is putting on out there to show that our councilmen, our committees are behind what the community is putting out. Okay, thank you.
Sir. Any other citizens like to address council? Not, we'll go to council comments, and Mr. Smith, we'll start with you.
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Nice words there, that's true. Everybody ought to participate. Do a better job of that myself. I just want to thank everybody for participating, and I look forward to some of the things we talked earlier in the pre-council about some paving projects and some other things to help benefit our city. And I think you're going to be seeing some good things coming in town, and looking forward to all that. Thank y'all for being here.
Yes, sir. Mr. Jones?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and Pastor Brockline, thank you for those words. I'd also like to remind council that as we go to Mayor's Day this weekend, that our youth council will be coming up there on Saturday evening and on Sunday actually at 1:45 to 2:30. We have one of our council members will be a part of a panel that will be discussing youth council from different youth councils across the state of Georgia, and so they will be on a panel doing that, Ms. Audrey. So please come out, and Charleston, please come out and support her. And our youth council, we will send 5 delegates up there this year, as always. And you know, this youth council, Dublin has become a very focal point with the youth council, and they enjoy our youth coming out, the energy they give. So let's go support our youth and show them that we are behind them 100%. I would also like to thank the council members and the city, Dublin City School superintendent and the school board, and Dr. Jordan for allowing us to have that forum out there the other Friday. It was great information. I mean, the students had great questions for council concerning the city and the growth of the city and how to improve the city. And so that shows that our youth, we do need to listen to them. You know, we went to that Chamber of Commerce 2030 breakfast, and that's what they were talking about. That's the generation that we need to listen to improve Dublin, Lawrence County, and make it grow. That's when we want to get educated, them to come back. So let's take heed to what they said, and let's try to make Dublin a better place. And 2018, let's make it teamwork, make dream work.
Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to also echo what's already been said, and also congratulate Reverend Sheffield on his service. And thank you for what all you've done for the community for those past 20 years. Thank everybody for being here.
Mr. Davis?
I want to thank everybody for attending this meeting. I do want to salute a true Trojan, Oconee High School Trojan, and Hall of Famer, and one of my heroes. A job well done. So I want to commend you on that. Thank Pastor Brock for being a conscience for the community. And I want to thank all of the employees for doing a great job for the city. And I do want to just have you take heed to this flu epidemic that's going around, and take precautions that you don't get the flu. You know of things that you could do to try to prevent that. If you see somebody close to you that seem like they got the flu, just make a good excuse to get away from it. But thank you all for coming.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming. Reverend Sheffield, congratulations, and thank you for your many years of service and dedication. And I hope everybody has a safe night and stay warm. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Josh? No. Mr. Retha? No.
Just I hope everybody saw on the front page of the paper today was a picture of in the snow, some of our sanitation folks out there doing their job.
Yes.
We recognize a lot of folks at the city, police and fire, and they deserve every bit of it, but there's a lot of folks, the sanitation department for one, the public works, gas department that's out responding to things, and those guys are out there picking up your trash in the snow when everybody else is kind of snuggling in bed and drinking that second cup of coffee, maybe because they didn't have to go to work that day. But you just look on your way to work, a lot of times those guys are out there when we're, I mean, I drive, I work a block from work, and I'm blocked from home, and I'll still drive sometimes if it's raining, but those guys are out in it, doing their job. So I just want to thank them, and when you see them, give them a little thank you, because they work real hard.
Or maybe not.
I'll look out by Jerry.
I think pretty much everything's been said, and congratulate Reverend Sheffield. As the mayor said, the Golden Shamrock is not something that's given out all the time. It's a tremendous accomplishment to receive that. Appreciate all you've done, and I'm not going to be long-winded like I normally am. So, like I said, I thank everyone for everything else. Thank everyone for coming.
No further business, we stand adjourned.